What is up, everybody? My name is Famous and welcome to another episode of Pokemon Go. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 Generation 3 Pokemon in Pokemon Go 2018 edition. The reason being is because I did make a video on this in the past, but it was complete speculation before the Pokemon actually got added in. Now that the Pokemon have been added in, we have been able to crunch the numbers and we can tell you exactly who the best Pokemon are in this case. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the formula. I definitely updated this from the past. Stamina rank, defense rank, attack rank is going to have a 1.5 multiplier, meaning it's going to have more of an emphasis on it than what it did in the past, being an equal weight. Then we're going to be taking a look at the ideal moveset, and with all of those factors combined, we will establish an overall ranking. So I hope you are excited for this. I hope that you do enjoy it, and if you do, be sure to slap a like on it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's go ahead and start things off with number 10, Gardevoir with a max CP of 2,964. Gardevoir is a dual-type Pokemon of Psychic and also Fairy-type. When we take a look at the stats, its best stat is going to be its attack rank. With a stat of 237, its rank for attack comes in 25th. And notice that the defense and the CP are fairly close in hand, but its worst stat is going to be its stamina rank at 136, giving it a rank of 163rd. But there is good news because its overall ranking is 30th, so very impressive. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ideal moveset for Gardevoir. On the quick move, we've got Confusion, which is a Psychic type move and the second best Psychic type move available. When we take a look at its charge move, it is Dazzling Gleam. It is a Fairy type move, and it is the best Fairy type move currently available in Pokemon Go. Number 9. We have Milotic with a max CP of 2,967. Milotic is a pure water type Pokemon. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stats. Its best stat is going to be its defense rank, coming in at 19th, and its actual stat is 242. When we take a look at its worst stat, it's going to be its attack stat at 192, giving it a rank of 94th. But once again, we do have good news because its overall ranking, just purely based off of stats, brings Milotic up to 24th. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that ideal moveset. For the quick move, we have Waterfall. And then for the charge move, we have Surf. So if you are wondering why they are third, in the quick move, you actually have a better DPS times EPS with Water Gun and then surprisingly Bubble. But the reason why you haven't really heard about Bubble being that much better is because none of the top meta Pokemon actually have that move. So that should bring a little bit of clarification to it. Number 8. Salamence with a max CP of 3,532. Salamence is a dual-type Pokemon of Dragon and also Flying type. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of its stats. Its best stat is absolutely incredible. It is attack with a stat of 277, giving it a 4th rank. When we take a look at its worst stat, it is going to be its defense rank. Its actual stat is 168, giving it a rank of 130th. This is very typical for a Dragon-type Pokemon. Its overall rating, after all of this, is at 23. When we take a look at the ideal moveset, it is Dragon Tail and then Draco Meteor, what is considered to be the absolute ideal moveset. A lot of people would say that Draco Meteor actually gets beat by Outrage, and in most cases that can actually be true if you end up getting halfway through a Draco Meteor, since it is a full bar charge and you can get off an extra Outrage, you can technically get more damage that way. But what this measures is output if you were able to get it off at the same amount of time. Draco Meteor and Outrage are actually fairly close, but as an actual DPS versus EPS, Draco Meteor slightly beats out Outrage. We will see Outrage further on in this list. Number 7. Jirachi with a max CP of 3,090. This is going to be the first mythical Pokemon that we have seen on this list. Jirachi is a dual-type Pokemon of Steel and then also Psychic type. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Its best stat is going to be its Stamina rank, a stat of 200, giving it a rank of 22nd, and its worst stat is going to be its attack rank, coming in at 61st. So its overall spread is fairly thin compared to some of the other Pokemon, which is definitely going to be a good sign. Its overall ranking in Pokemon Go currently is 15th, so very sought after, something that's going to be very special when Jirachi comes out. I personally believe it's going to be from the special research like we saw with Mew. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ideal moveset. Definitely have something cool to talk about here. So first things first, on the quick move, we have Confusion, which is a Psychic type, the second best Psychic type move that you can have for a quick move. And then we can talk about the charge move, Doom Desire. Doom Desire was found in the network traffic, but Pokemon simply don't have it at this point in time. That doesn't mean that they won't in the future, and if Jirachi was to get that, this would actually be the #1 Steel type move, and with the stab bonus occurring for Jirachi, is going to be absolutely incredible to battle with. Number 6. Latias with a max CP of 3,377. Latias is a dual type Pokemon of Dragon and also Psychic type. When we take a look at the stats, its best stat is going to be its defense rank at 268 on the actual stat, and then ranking it at 11th on that. Its worst stat is going to be its stamina rank at 160, giving it a rank of 83rd. If you are a little bit curious about Latias and Latios, the only difference between them stat-wise is that the attack and defense stat are flipped. In Latias' case, the defense stat is going to be the higher of the two. Let's talk about the moveset, though. This is definitely a conversation worth having, and something that I'm very excited to talk about when we talk about the top 5 Dragon-type Pokemon, which will be coming out in the next month or so. So, Dragon Breath and Outrage. It isn't the ideal quick move. The ideal quick move is going to be Dragon Tail, but it has a better moveset than Latios. Unfortunately, the difference between the stats doesn't pick it up enough to make Latias better than Latios, even with a worse moveset on Latios, but it makes it fairly competitive. Number 5. Latios with a max CP of 3,644. Latios is a dual-type Pokemon of Dragon and also Psychic type. When we take a look at the stats, its best stat is going to be tied between its attack and also its max CP rank. Its attack stat is 268, giving it a rank of 8th. Overall ranking of 9, but keep in mind, even with the pure stats, Pokemon Go can completely change that just based on the moveset. And when we're talking about the moveset, Latios was robbed in a lot of ways. If Latios had a better moveset, even had the exact same moveset as Rayquaza, you would actually be fairly surprised at how well it could perform. Since it does act a little bit more like a tank, it would be able to put out the near output of what Rayquaza does, and it would be able to last longer, making it completely a meta-changing Pokemon. Keep that in mind, though, because if the moveset changes, Latios could totally become just as good, if not better, than Rayquaza. Number 4. Rayquaza with a max CP of 3,645. Rayquaza is a dual-type Pokemon of Dragon and also Flying type. When we take a look at the stats, its best stat is going to be its attack stat at 284, giving it a rank of 3rd, so the 3rd highest attack rank of all the Pokemon in Pokemon Go. Absolutely incredible. When we're taking a look at its worst stat, though, that's going to be its defense rank that I mentioned earlier. Its stat is 170, giving it a rank of 126. Quite a big spread on Rayquaza. Rayquaza's overall rank among its stats is 20th, so technically a little bit lower than Latios and Latias, but because of the moveset, definitely allows Rayquaza to trump them at this point in time. Its quick move is Dragon Tail, and then its charge move is Outrage. As I mentioned before, Outrage and Draco Meteor are very close in performance. Outrage would probably do better in most situations if it can pick up that extra move that Draco Meteor can't. So honestly, they could be argued, and I'll probably change it in the future to give them more of a tie. Number 3. Metagross with a max CP of 3,637. Metagross is a dual-type Pokemon of Steel and also Psychic type. When we take a look at the stats, its best stat is going to be its max CP along with its attack. Its attack stat is at 257, so very impressive with a rank of 12th. Notice that the defense rank is also fairly high as well. There's not a big spread among that. Its worst stat is going to be its stamina, with a stat of 160, giving it a rank of 83rd. But its overall ranking totally overcomes all of that with an overall ranking of 6. Now let's take a look at that ideal moveset. Bullet Punch for the quick move, and then Flash Cannon for Steel. But because this Pokemon is a dual type Pokemon, you can easily go the Steel route just as likely as you can go the Psychic route. But unfortunately, on the Psychic route, since it doesn't have Future Sight, I think it's going to be a little bit more damaging if you follow the Steel route. But notice Flash Cannon coming in at 6. That's not the greatest move of it. Obviously there's 6, but there's just so many Steel type, and then a couple that haven't come out at this point in time, like what we saw earlier with Jirachi. But overall, a solid Pokemon. Number 2, we have Groudon with a max CP of 4,074. Groudon is a pure ground type Pokemon. When we take a look at the stats, it is going to be tied for first with the Pokemon that's going to take the first place. I'll go ahead and explain a little bit of why I think Groudon is going to have to take the number 2 spot. When we take a look at its best stat, it's going to be its CP and attack. Its attack stat at 270, absolutely incredible, with an overall rank of 6. Notice that there's really not a spread. Its highest rank is its stamina stat of 182, giving it a rank of 49. But let's go ahead and take a look at that ideal moveset. This is very telling of why I'm giving it a second place position. For the quick move, we have Mudshot, ground, gonna get the stab on that. That's absolutely a-okay. But on the charge move, notice that we're going with Solar Beam. That is not a stab bonus move, but it still technically outperforms any type of ground move that Groudon knows. And something's going to have to happen in the future for ground type moves to be a little bit more competitive on the actual charge move. Earthquake just can't keep up with some of these other moves. It's just so crazy that Solar Beam is going to be the one that is the ideal moveset for Groudon. Now let's go ahead and move into this number 1 spot, something very exciting to see, and that is Kyogre with a max CP of 4,074, a pure water type Pokemon. Kyogre's best stat is going to be its attack stat, coming in at 270 on the stat, giving it a rank of 6. Its worst stat is going to be its stamina, once again rank of 49th. But let's go ahead and take a look at that ideal moveset. It is Waterfall on the quick move, and then Hydro Pump on the charge move. Waterfall being beat slightly by Water Gun, and then technically Bubble. But once again, like I have brought up in the past, Bubble just isn't used among the top meta Pokemon. So in reality, Waterfall is an incredible move, and with the stats of Kyogre, it can really overcome it, even if it doesn't have the absolute ideal move set. But anyways, I hope you did enjoy this video. I hope that you found it exciting, had a lot of fun with it. I know we went a little bit long, but there was just so much to cover with it. I definitely enjoyed getting back into it. If you do have any suggestions for me, be sure to leave it in the comment section below, and I will definitely reply. But I hope you did enjoy it, and I will see you next time.
Hit me like a tidal wave.